You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV Scandal After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV Scandal After Show.
Y'all ever watch the Temptations movie?
All the time.
Of course.
This is the AFTERBUZZ TV. I think I have to put on a different voice. This is the AFTERBUZZ TV Scandal After Show here every week. Except this is our last week for the season. But this is Season 3, Episode 18, the season finale. Guys, as always, this is your crew here. Your gladiators. I'm Emile Ennis Jr. and I'm joined here with...
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Kennelia.
Hi, I'm Sofia Stanley.
And I'm Bamm Ericsen.
So, let's talk about the finale. What did we think, guys? If we're being honest.
I mean, I guess I'll go first. I don't mind getting shade or daggers or whatever. I've been talking about the pace of the show, and last week the pace was slower, but in a really good way. This time it was slower in a way that I'm a little bit confused, if that makes sense. And I'm a crybaby, and I didn't cry once.
It seemed like a series finale.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seemed like the way they tied it up, you would think that we weren't coming back ever again. Like, Olivia finally comes to the revelation. She gets on a plane with Jake. They go stand in the sun.
Cyrus is happy because
Cyrus is happy.
his first husband, his other husband, won.
Right. So it was very season finale for me. Series finale for me.
Yeah, it was like a series finale, but also I do understand if you watch a lot of the past Grey's Anatomy's series finales or season finales, it always leaves you with what are the potentials of what can happen, and it really makes people think, okay, well, Mama Pope is locked up, is Harrison, is he really dead or is he coming back? Liv is on the plane, but will she come back? Like, there's all these things that makes people question all summer, is this really going to happen? And it really gets people thinking and talking. But I think the only problem with that is it was done in such a way, I wonder if it's going to turn people off, like, whatever.
I don't leave me with no questions.
I don't think that's going to happen. Sorry, I don't think that's going to happen. However, and I actually don't watch Grey's Anatomy, but I'm enough of a TV addict that I watch finales of shows that I don't watch. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 2 seasons ago for Grey's Anatomy, it ended with a plane crash. Mm-hmm. So to me, that signifies like a punch in the gut. Mm-hmm. This didn't punch me in the gut. Don't get me wrong, I agree with you that it left a lot of questions, but there was no emotional wrenching. And I know that what people are going to say, people are like, but Jerry died. Arguably, in the context of the show, Jerry, we just met him. He was a child that we didn't really even... we knew existed but had never seen. That's not a main player dying. So nothing really floored me other than Huck and Quinn getting it on in the conference room at OPA.
Yeah. Next to Bud. I think that the thing that gets us maybe, or the thing that gets me, is that for this show in particular, we have multiple episodes that single-handedly could be their own finales, and then we get to the actual finale and it feels like a letdown because we've had multiple finales already throughout the episode, if you want to look at it that way. Or multiple episodes that are more shocking and that they lead up to something, and then like you have these hashtags, who killed this person, all this craziness, and then all of a sudden we get to the finale and it's just like, and I don't know if it was because people tweet us, and like I saw tweets like, we can't wait to see your reactions and stuff, but I'm like, what am I reacting to exactly? If I'm being honest.
Right. And you know what I think it is? And I'm gonna talk out of the opposite side of my mouth, or actually validate, I think, everything that we're saying. the writers are so good on the show because they are authentic to the characters, right? And I think that arguably the reason that we're not floored is because everyone did what they were supposed to do, right? Cyrus didn't tell about the bombing until like the last minute because Cyrus is a monster, but he still is a monster with a heart, right? Jake saves the day. Why? Because that's what Jake always does. David literally was like, hey, no, we need to get B613. This isn't right. Cyrus was going to let these people die. That's what Cyrus does. Harrison has to go be Harrison. You know what I mean? It seems as if Huck and Quinn have to go be Huck and Quinn. But same thing, like we knew that, Huck could not go see his family. Basically, everyone did what everyone was supposed to do. Even Olivia telling about Fitz about Melly being raped. Her even then, siding back with her dad because she has daddy issues. I could go through the whole thing, but everyone acted as they were supposed to. And I think that is part of why you're saying it felt like a series finale and not a season finale, because it did seem to wrap up loose ends in a weird way.
We got closure from a
we
lot
got
of
closure on a lot of things. So I think that's why we're kind of a little...
And I mean, the plane flew off into the sunset. Like, if that's not closure...
Well, yeah, but the last time a plane flew off, we remember what happened? Might kill people.
Yeah.
So...
Well, let's just break down what happened.
Let's start with the way this episode opened. We left last week with finding out that there was a bomb underneath the funeral, and we opened with the scene of Sally sitting in church, Leo Bergen, and all these different people, and then we hear Fitz doing the eulogy, and first I assumed he was in the church. I was like, oh wait, I thought Cyrus was supposed to be stopping that, but then we see he's actually in the office still doing his thing. And then Cyrus was going to tell him, but Jake burst in and actually tells him, what's going on, because Cyrus ignored the call. And Jake tells the president what's going on. The church is evacuated. And I think the main focus of this scene was how the two presidential candidates reacted to the situation. We had Sally, who at first was going to get in the vehicle and go away, and then Leo comes over and says, no, this is your 9/11. Rips her shirt, puts dirt on her face, and has her go out there. My favorite part, though,
and
is
then
when
says, go be Jesus.
Yes!
Sorry.
But my favorite part is when she's down there tending to the ladies, when she's like, no cameras, please.
No, the best part...
She was convincing.
She
put
really
some
was.
gruff in her voice.
The best part of that scene for me is when they did the how they froze the screen and they made it into black and white, and then you see Leo like this.
Over there
Yeah.
smiling.
Just smiling.
happy.
They've done
He's-
that a lot this season, those freeze frames. I like it. Artistically, it's really pleasing to watch.
But Leo does his job.
Oh, beyond.
He's good.
Very
Because
good.
he's right. It's a missed opportunity. And not only is it a missed opportunity, it could have actually done the exact opposite, because then it seems as if she's running from
Tragedy.
right?
Yeah.
And especially then given the dynamic of a woman, like she has to show that she is able to take charge in the literal and figurative face of danger. And then notice how when she was then addressing the cameras, how many people she had behind her, and basically it so then led for the fact of we need prayer. Think about it. In the midst of a tragedy is the one time as collective Americans we can agree on prayer. It doesn't matter to whom we are praying, right? In essence, we all agree at times of tragedy that prayer is needed. And who is Sally but the champion of prayer?
And the way she worded her dialogue in regards to, we're going to take this person down. We're not going to take any basically BS.
Swift
we're gonna,
and ruthless.
Yes, exactly. And then she goes, now let us pray. That was, she was in rare form.
And we all looked at each other and we're like, oh, we lost.
Right.
Like we knew. We were like, it's over.
And it was even worse when we had the scene where they're watching the president speak on the screen, because remember, Olivia had to go get Fitz and say, this is your time, you need to be talking to the people. And then we see him on screen and it's a split screen. Then all of a sudden, one by one, these networks are going to full screen of Sally doing her thing on the ground there.
Would that really happen in real life?
Yes, completely. You want to know why? Think about what has been going on recently. And we've talked about it, but the Malaysian airline. Think about how many hours of the news cycle that has taken up. Do you really think that in the midst of that happening, other people haven't died?
But if the president's speaking,
No,
though,
but again,
that
it's the president, right? And then you actually have the actual tragedy. What is he going to tell us that is, in essence, more pressing than the actual act of the thing, number one, and number two, it's still the vice president. It's not like there's not a government official there. yes, on some levels, because what if he's going to say it actually is a terrorist attack? Like, what if he's communicating information that we need? But sadly, that would just be on the bottom of Sally's thing on a ticker on the bottom of the screen. Right? And I just say that saying, I don't mean this to be disrespectful to the media, but I mean it in terms of the fact that the media has now become entertainment based and it needs eyes. So meaning if people aren't watching,
Right.
nobody cares. And sadly, we, the populace, the democracy, would probably prefer to see Sally and what's going on in the actual zone, ground, I don't want to say that other word, but do you know what I'm trying to say, in the
Right.
situation versus the president in the press room talking about what we already know.
Yeah.
And what we, lastly, and what we can find out on our smartphones.
Do you think that, because Kennelia, you mentioned last week how you want Fitz to lose because he hasn't really shown that he really wants this. The fact that Olivia had to tell him you need to go out there and you need to speak, rather than him not already getting, got his notepad trying to figure out. Like, I feel like that's something Fitz should have already been thinking about, something to do, rather than Olivia tell him you need to do this.
Well, I mean, I didn't want Fitz to win because, one, I'm over the White House drama. Because how long are we going to keep doing this? The White House whodunit, and they're trying to keep Fitz somebody tries to kill him every season. Like, how many times are we going to do this? And he wanted to pull out so many times. Okay, fine. You're not gonna win then. Like, in reality, in real life, when you want something, that don't mean you're gonna get it. Just because somebody wronged you in the first place and you won and they fixed it for you doesn't mean that this time everything's gonna be justified and right. Real life don't work like that. So for me, I want it to be more realistic, to where, guess what? Sometimes you don't win a second election. Take your ass out the White House, excuse the ass, and let's see you in a real life setting. Let's see you in real life dealing with what you asked for when you didn't sign the paperwork to file for re-election in the first place. I don't think him knowing what to do at that moment was just him being weak. It was a lot going on. Because, I mean, you had the drama with your wife. Fitz's whole life is a mess. So take that on top of now the church just got bombed. You like, what's going on? Somebody, you thought it was going to be bombed in Ohio where you just were. So now what's happening? Now you in the situation room. You got to speak. But at some point you like, wait, but I need to figure out what's happening. Maybe it's a terrorist plot. I think it was too much going on for him to automatically just be like, let me go to the podium and talk to the people. I just think it was too chaotic.
And I think that's not his job. I think, ironically, we forget, like, the president isn't like everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's literally why you have people like a press secretary to tell you what to do in certain situations, as well as the fact that I think that one of the best aspects of Fitz is that he actually feels. So I think that, unlike Cyrus and Olivia to a certain extent, he doesn't automatically go, what is the most calculated, pragmatic thing to do in this situation? He's actually feeling, and he's actually there in the moment, and he's present in the moment.
And also, like Kennelia said, like, every season it seems like somebody tries to kill him. He's already gone through a traumatic experience, so he was supposed to be speaking there, like doing the eulogy. So it's one of those moments where it's like, oh, damn, like, can I get a break here? And he's just trying to collect his thoughts. But we see that because of this whole situation, now Sally's rising in the polls, and then Fitz has this moment where he's like, we're going to lose. And immediately he goes to, Olivia talking about Vermont again and how they can do that, and he can be mayor and she can make jam. And part of me is like, oh, come on, guys. Maybe because I'm still thinking about Jake and Olivia now, Jolivia. But I'm a little tired of the back and forth, and it's come to the point where you can kind of see it's not going to happen, so stop talking about it.
But when Olive told him, when they told him that he was going to lose, he had a moment, then he realized, okay, yeah, I am going to lose. So he really was in the moment of accepting that. It was not until Olivia then did something that we can, discuss. She did something that was morally right, or just something. I don't know the word. I don't know the word. But let me finish. So she did something where the moment was there for her to literally go and make jam, but she did what some people would think is the right thing or the wrong thing to inform Fitz of what happened with Melly. I thought that was I don't have a word for it, but I thought it was, I'm going to say, interesting that when she had the opportunity to run off with her man, she revealed this information that she knew what take a back seat to her dream in the White House. You know, the picket fence in the gym. What do you guys think about her making that decision?
I think she wouldn't have been able to sleep at night, or any decent woman wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that the man you're with, something about his wife that's damaging to a woman. Take that it was his wife out of it. But if I knew something happened to Sofia and I knew it was hurting her, and I knew the person who is closest to her didn't know, but I was gonna run off with him knowing that what I know about her, I would feel like a dirtbag. Like I couldn't live my life that way. So I get it that it was her opportunity to finally be like, fine, Fitz, let's run away. Like she could have taken that, but as a woman, I don't think she would have been able to live with herself knowing that. Because even when she was on the phone with him, jumping ahead, and I'm not going to really talk about that much, she was saying, if you would have left her right now after she told you what she told you, I wouldn't want to be with you. She couldn't be in that. She can bask in that moment right then.
If we're jumping ahead though, because I was sitting next to Kennelia during that scene when he said "not yet."
But okay, and I can break both down, but I'm going to go back first because I think it's really a relevant point. It's because there's a trinity. Even in the conversation about Vermont, he kept bringing up Mellie.
He did.
Do you see what I say? So that proved to her that Mellie was part of the equation. And he kept saying, no, but you know Mellie. She's cold. She's heartless. She's only out for politics. Again, Olivia does know Mellie. And especially going back to last episode, that's why when Mellie said it and didn't say it, Olivia knew automatically that she had been raped and not that she had consented to it, because she actually knows who Mellie is. So meaning, Fitz was actually saying, if Mellie is this person, we can be off in Vermont. But if she's this other person, who she actually is, then we can't, because again, I would have never allowed myself to let you in. That's the first part. The second part, I'll let you go, and then I'll tell you about the second part where he goes, not yet, because I'll tell you why there's legitimacy to it.
I gave Emile the side eye.
I mean, it's just like, stop putting her on hold, like, not yet. I just felt like it was one of those things where, just like she was stringing Jake along, it just felt like he was stringing her along, just not yet. Like, it almost felt like, let me pacify the situation and see what we can work out here to.
No, but I think also this is the thing, is that I actually took it completely different, and this is going to sound weird. I think because on some levels, take the assault out of it. I think that when Fitz and Mellie were initially in love, it still was never like the same love that he has with Olivia. So regardless of whether or not they had been a happy couple, whatever, he may not have let Olivia in, but that the energy that he had, he still probably would have left his wife. It would have actually been harder to do because there was no messiness. He didn't hate her, right? But the love that he has for Olivia is like that soulmate love. And not to be disrespectful, not everyone's married to their soulmate. And you still can have a great life and raise a family and have kids and be happy.
I had a church moment. Whoo, say that again.
Okay, not everyone's married to their soulmate. Do you know what I mean? And I think that the difference is Fitz and Olivia, that their souls are connected. And ironically, that's actually why she had to tell Fitz. Because if you really love someone from your soul, it really is selfless to a certain point, because you need that person to be happy and to be whole. And if they had gone off to Vermont and then somehow had found out, then that she would have actually felt the wholeness of the love and it to be wrenched away from her. There's no way for that. I think that also, too, they still have a family together, no matter what. And I've said this time and time again. The fact that Fitz and Mellie argue the way that they do shows a certain aspect of love. The opposite of love is indifference, not hate. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't continue to do this punching bag. You'd just be like, stop, and keep it moving. So I think that there's an undertone there that has to be resolved, because they have a family. And that's why even he says, like, I have to go talk to my family. Like, when he tells, Olivia that her mom was the one who's behind this, he was like, no, I have to go talk to my family. Because he actually, ironically now, has a family. Like, she literally fixed it. She fixed his family just before his child died.
See, my problem with the not yet is, forget all of that. If you're dealing with a man on and off, and every week or every other week you got this, we're not gonna work out, and next week y'all kissing in the mouth and basking in the sun in the White House. If at some point when you decide to walk away, or you decide that right now it's just not gonna work, I understand it. Don't hit me with the "but not yet." That's, to me, I don't want to hear that.
I disagree.
Go ahead, Bamm.
And I'm saying this because if this were the first time that they did this dance and he hit her with that not yet, I'd be like, okay. But at some point, you cannot tell me 45 not yets. You cannot do that. At some point, you have to stop saying not yet and just let not yet happen. Because it's not like this the first time he left her like this. How many other times are you going to continuously say, Fitz, not yet, soon? You can't stop. Just stop and show it. Show and prove.
I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you, Kennelia and Emile, because you have to remember the dynamics of their relationship. It's one thing if Fitz is a ball player, and
he's more powerful than a ball player.
Correct, and there's a lot more. There's a lot more to lose, and just there's too many different aspects in why he has to say not yet, because of their relationship. I feel
stop saying it. You told me 25 times.
I thought you were going to go somewhere else and tell me if this is where you're going, Bamm. See, I feel like he has a right to say not yet because he has to speak his truth. And his truth is he is madly in love with Olivia. That is his soulmate. However, his wife and the mother of his children, he just found out was raped by his father.
Yes, I was getting to that.
As a man that, again, they have risked the Republic and their lives and potentially gone to jail for, would have to take care of his wife in some way. So he's basically just saying, like, I have to take care of this, and then we'll get back to where we were. It's Olivia's job to be like, no, I can't do this. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's Olivia who keeps putting her hand up. It's Olivia who actually doesn't want to walk in the sun with Fitz. And I think that part of it is because she doesn't think she's worthy. She never owns it. Does that make sense? She never embraces it. She's always pushing him away. And I think that that's way more Olivia than it ever is Fitz. Because she has had at least ballpark 15 opportunities where they could have been in Vermont.
No,
or anywhere else that she wanted to be with Fitzgerald Grant.
I get that. I get that aspect, but again, at some point you have to stop saying that there's a place. You have to stop saying that there's a pause on it, like not yet. Stop saying it and just show and prove. Because again, if that's the case, he's going to keep giving her these not yets for the next 10 years. You gonna give me 10 years of not yet? Stop. Just show me the not yet.
I agree with both of you. I understand where you're coming from, because if you think about it, then this Melly situation could be this not yet, but then what's going to be the next not yet?
But not yet.
Right. It could just be a continuous cycle.
Well, then take your man. Doesn't make sense. Take your man. Like, and I don't know if anyone on Twitter wants to jump in, but like, there have been legitimate. We'll talk in celebrity world, right? So you had Brad and Angelina, right? Okay. So think about it. Brad and Jennifer were a cute couple, but has gone on record. He's like, that wasn't my soulmate. I was happy with her, but then all of a sudden you have someone who literally like sees inside you in a completely different way. You still have to handle the first situation like a gentleman. Whether he did or not, it's questionable. However, how you handle that can then set up the next relationship in a way that doesn't seem so messy, right? But that happens to people all the time. Sometimes it's married people and they divorce and then they get together with someone else, or sometimes it's just girlfriend and boyfriend. But it's not like it doesn't happen where like people, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's overnight. So let's put it into perspective. Literally, when he said hold, she had literally, let's say, told him on a Monday, and by Thursday, he's like, where's Olivia?
This time.
But
like,
almost all
this time.
Almost all times. The only time he's actually ever really pushed her for a far period of time was the whole
Defiance.
Thank you.
Yeah. That was our time.
Yeah, we did argue about it.
Yeah. Keep going, Emile.
Let us know what you think. No. Let us know what you think. Join the conversation. Tweet us.
Then make sure that you go on iTunes, and that's one of the best places where you can join the conversations. You go to iTunes.com, and all you have to do is type in AfterBuzz TV Scandal, and all of our podcasts are there for Season 1, Season 2, as well as Season 3. And you can rate, comment, subscribe, and more importantly, tell a friend, because they may not know that there is a Scandal podcast. As well as AfterBuzz TV, we have a podcast for anything worth watching on TV. AfterBuzz TV has a podcast. So make sure that you go to iTunes.com, rate, comment, and subscribe. And the best way to join the conversation is by leaving us a comment, and we will respond to you either via iTunes or right here on our podcast. So again, iTunes, AfterBuzz TV, Scandal, rate, comment, subscribe, tell a friend.
Thank you, Sophia.
You're welcome.
I got
I'm
fired
laughing.
up, guys. I'm sorry.
I feel guilty when I
got
say
fired up.
tweet us and stuff because I never respond. Sorry, guys.
No, you tweet us. Don't respond. That's fine.
But anyway, so we had a lot of stuff that happened right after this scene. We had a scene where it was Fitz and Olivia's 1 minute. They tried. I had an issue with this scene because they were playing the music from the infamous 1 minute scene from first season, and that scene, was really emotional and passionate. This one, it just seemed like they were trying to tug on our emotions, and it didn't quite have the same effect. And then essentially, Fitz was saying that this was going to be his last big speech because he lost the election, or he's going to lose the election, and this is like his last big hoorah. And then we go into the speech, and all of a sudden, Jerry's coughing blood, and then blood's coming out of his nose, and then I found it surprising that Melly had to say his name twice. though.
No, you know how loud it is in there?
Yeah.
It's loud.
It's no,
True.
literally, because I think that, and let alone, and I could be wrong, but he could even have
The
what's
earpiece.
it called, an
The
earpiece
earpiece.
in.
True.
You know what I mean?
Because he wasn't there was no monitor. What do you call that thing?
Teleprompter.
There was no
Yeah.
teleprompter that he was reading from, so he could
Yeah.
he could have potentially have been had an earpiece where maybe they were feeding him lines. It happens all the time. So do you think that Melly, I mean, she yelled his name, but was there anything else she could have done to get him to, because
No, trust me, on that second time, he heard.
Yeah,
it was
second
only the
time
second
he
time. Because I think also, too, again, from the perspective that we're at, arguably the first time she said it, she's probably still saying it to Jerry when she's saying Fitz.
Initial
which,
reaction.
again, initial
Yeah.
reaction, which is different than when she turned to Fitz and said Fitz. He heard. And he responded, like, immediately. The only thing I just want to say is that I really thought it was like a Ebola and everyone was going to die. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought it was a
Yeah, I
whole.
thought it was going
the
somewhere
whole
different.
Gym,
Yeah,
like,
the way that it
whole-
spewed out, I was like, oh my God, they're all dead.
Was this shocking enough for you guys, though?
yes.
Yes. James, go ahead.
It was shocking, but again, when you think about it, sometimes when certain little characters emerge, just like, what's the security guard? What's his name?
Morris.
No.
Hal?
Hal.
Oh.
Tom Hal?
Secret Service.
Secret
Yeah.
Service. When there's
Sorry.
when there's certain characters
Rent-a-cop.
when there's certain characters who pop up periodically, or when they come on to the screen, there's always it's not a shocker, or it is a shocker that something winds up happening to them. We haven't seen these kids. They finally popped up the last couple episodes, and then the boy got they tried to
Meningitis.
he got meningitis, but the little teenage girl tricked him. Looking back, I'm not surprised, but at the actual moment, I was like, oh my God.
And the
But I
way-
wasn't expecting them to die,
And
though.
the way that they set up two key things,
Yeah.
and you talk about this all the time, of like how they set up the story to make it like kind of cyclical and close off. So he apologizes to his dad, in essence, him saying, I'm sorry that you're going to lose. His apologizing for being such a butthead earlier, number
Yeah.
one. Number two, not only Fitz finding out that Melly was raped, which to me solidifies that their marriage was a marriage of love, and i.e. then that their kids were brought into this world from a place of love, and more importantly, that Jerry is his. That set it up for
Yeah.
us. I think the emotional tug for me was towards the end when Fitz, how he broke down, like, because it was so composed yet not, and to me how it's going to then play out next season, that's I think where it's going to tug at us.
The emotional tug for me was different. I thought you were going to say this was with Melly, when Melly was talking about how she kind of pushed him away because she wasn't aware, or she didn't know for sure if that was her son. And like, when you just think about, it's kind of one of those moments when there's somebody in your life who you should be closer to or interact more with, and then something happens like towards the end of their life when they're gone, and it's too late to. It was that was a little sad, but it still wasn't enough to make me tear up.
None of the moments made me tear up, but the moment for me was when they turned the screen black and white, and you saw Fitz carrying his child. That for me, that was the moment, because that is the worst moment, is when something happens to your child and you're carrying your child. He's unconscious, and that the way Fitz as the character was able to embody a parent carrying his child, just it was. That hurt.
Now the way they played it, the whole episode, they made it seem like Maya was doing all these things, and later on in the episode, which we'll talk about, we find out that Rowan is really the one who was orchestrating all of this stuff. am I the only one who wasn't necessarily surprised at all? Like, part of me kind of figured, especially with the last couple of episodes, that Rowan's behind, mostly because Rowan's just cold.
Well, I said, remember, like when we were watching, I was like, "Oh, Rowan did this."
Yeah.
you did
Like
say
as soon as stuff started to unfold, as soon as he wobbled his little
I
self
agree.
out of that hospital room with that robe on,
Same
I was
hospital.
like, "Oh, Rowan did this. He's playing Fitz because if you're gonna play somebody, you can play Fitz, because Fitz, even though Fitz is a smart guy, and sometimes he redeems himself." He can get played quite often. So it's like, oh, he can do this.
Fitz is a smart guy, but you have to remember, between Fitz, Olivia, Cyrus, Mama Pope, they're not only intelligent, but they know how to, They know how to manipulate. Fitz is not a manipulator. He's just a very smart, intelligent person. But when you have, it's the kind of thing where they say when you have intelligence and street smarts, they have more street smarts and intelligence. Fitz is only intelligent.
Why do you think Fitz wouldn't figure out something was up? Like, as far as why Rowan was so eager to help him get Maya's head on the platter, because he said right before that, if anybody hurts my child, then, like, remember he said that statement, but Jerry wasn't his child, and Maya hasn't necessarily done anything to, like, actually hurt Olivia.
I think I agree with you. I think he means, like, intellectually so, in the same point that, like, she actually really could have gone to jail for treason.
Yeah.
And, like, you know what I mean? Like, she technically is the thread to the whole Maya escaping, so forth and so on. But, and I'm reaching, as you can tell. Like, yeah. I get it.
It was just a little weird, like, you would think that something would go in his brain, like,
It was a lot going on. Again, you don't have the time to really put the pieces together when something hits you that hard. And it's different, when he's like chilling in the office,
clouded,
and he got time to really be like, okay, so this happened and this happened. No, you hear your son die. You're at the hospital. You're handed a folder that said it's meningitis, and here comes Rowan, who you would think knows everything and knows the ins and outs. He's telling you this is what it is. You're gonna believe him at this point because somebody killed your son. He didn't just catch this special meningitis. You know what I mean? Like, I would have believed him.
And if not Rowan, who else would be able to do it?
And then also just think about how Liv and her dad have the past couple episodes, they've become more father and daughter.
Formed a real bond. Yeah.
And the fact that Olivia is on the phone with Fitz while she's in the hospital watching over her dad, maybe that could have said something to Fitz as well.
But again, I completely agree, but I also think it goes back to what Jake has always been trying to tell her. And I think this goes back again to the fact that these characters are very organic to themselves. And if on one level, and I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth, yes, Jake initially was watching her at the behest of the president, right? But theoretically, he actually has really never lied to her, right? Even like B613 stuff. He doesn't even say to her, like, ironically, the president, like, it's above your pay grade. He tells her, right? He told her that this father thing is simply an act. He told her that Rowan is a monster. He told her that he will put on whatever face and or facade he needs to do to get what he needs to get, right? Mm-hmm. There's a certain aspect of Olivia where she doesn't live in gray, she only lives in black and white. So the fact that Maya is bad makes her dad good, versus they both could be really effing fucked up.
Sofia Stanley.
It's okay.
I did the hyphenated and then still did it. Sorry, I'm from Boston.
Okay.
I apologize. Okay. So there are the warning signs. And to me, the way that she got into the bed was so symbolic. The symmetry when Fitz was shot and she got in the bed with Fitz. And again, it goes back to she has issues with her dad. And when you have issues with your dad and you possibly did not feel love or worthy from presumably the most important person in your life, you then do not feel worthy of love. And that, you can argue, plays out with her relationship with Fitz. So ironically, I think that her finding closure with her dad is the same thing that gave her the strength to leave, which may or may not have been the right situation or the right decision to make. But I think it's all of that's all clouded because you have Olivia putting the stamp on Rowan, so Fitz is like, okay, cool, he's gonna kill this person who killed my son. I don't have to get my hands dirty. It's all good.
Well, he's definitely clouded, but also Quinn and Huck are clouded, just getting it on in OPA. Have freaking Abby and who was it? It was Abby and Harrison walking in and catching them.
They were getting it in.
It's like it's getting worse. Now I don't want to say it worse, but more graphic.
They were getting it in. Like it wasn't like like somebody might come in. They were having sex like they really were at the house.
Right.
Like they weren't having sex like there were glass doors. They were getting it in. I was like, whoa, because it happened so fast. It was like you could hear them. Like
Yeah,
it's like
I agree.
And it was like, hey, they were literally having the time of their lives.
Right? I mean,
I just would like to say that, damn, Quinn got thick.
Shut up, Bamm.
I'm sorry, like.
And it's funny, I noticed that too.
Quinn got
it too.
she got
eating
thick.
some cornbread.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because her hair is down, but like I was like, damn, Quinn.
Well, that's because when they came in, she didn't bother to put her clothes back on, so we got to see everything. She was kind of like, "What?"
Even when she went back home and when Charlie just walked out and we didn't see Charlie for the rest of the episode, which I thought was odd.
No, we did see him when he was back with Command, but go ahead.
Oh yeah. When she was in the house and when Charlie was leaving, even the jeans she had on, I was just like, oh damn. Oh, God. Sorry.
I can't.
See, and that was fun. Oh, because I'm about to go there. Anyways.
No, but Charlie gave Quinn a folder.
Yeah.
Saying that the breakup happened fast. It happened really fast.
Why didn't she just shoot him?
Right,
she
like
just shot him. No, seriously. Pulled out a tooth and then shot him.
Yeah.
I didn't think that she would have the balls to say anything to him though about it. I thought that she would get caught, but from the way they shot it in the script, it seems as if she confessed. Like once again, I'll say my phrase: the good wood. She was telling him about the good wood, and because it didn't come off like
it was like they were already in the house and he was
Right.
packing his stuff. How did he find out that they were getting it on at OPA?
But again, this is Charlie. He was probably in the bushes when they were at OPA. He was in the next office with a telescope.
But
like,
they should. But if they're going to, if Charlie is a creep, then they need to play on that, and they need to show that he's a creep, and they need to show how he found out that.
No, she totally told him. Like to me,
him.
I agree with what you're saying that it seemed a little disjointed, but to me it didn't. It was literally like she already told him. That's why he's like, "Oh, have fun with your little friend" or whatever, and then that's why he's like, "Oh," because he had already been creeping. That's why he had the folder ready so that whenever she would break up with him, he would be like, "Bam, there you go." He already knew.
But to me, it's different because he's been so aggressive, and she's always been on such edge when he asks her questions like, "Where you been? How many men you been with?"
It's again to me, B613. They mind F you, and I will not curse again. So think about it. He tried that with her. It didn't work. Think about it. He tried that fear, like I'm gonna be the crazy boyfriend, and you still boinked Huck, right?
Yeah.
So now he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna mess with you," and I really want to curse today. He's gonna mess with her in another way. That envelope. He literally and figuratively effed her. No, seriously.
Yeah.
Because again, he's right. He's like, it doesn't matter if you open it, you don't open it, because it's going to eat away at you. What does she do? She opens it and then drives Huck right there.
But the funny thing is, like, and I guess she doesn't understand, but like, if Charlie tells you there's no good that can come from this, why would you go to Huck saying, "I'm doing this because I love you"? Like, here's your family.
Because it's one of those things where now she loves Huck and she don't know what's in this envelope and she doesn't know if this she's trying to be honest and come clean about whatever the information is. So I could see from her perspective, but as a newfound blood killer, I don't feel she should have done it. I felt that she should have taken a different route rather than just take him to get this, take him to where the address was.
And keep going with it. And the different route would have been?
And the different route would have been to do the investigation yourself and then whatever.
Okay, sorry, I thought you were going to go somewhere else. The different thing is, you tell you tell Huck.
Yeah.
He'll literally be like, "This is what happened. Charlie gave me an envelope, said no good would come from it. Here's the envelope. Move on."
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, sorry, I have to bring up another show, but if anyone watches Sherlock, the same exact situation happened and was handled differently, and the person basically was like, no, I love you, so it doesn't matter what's in the envelope, and you never look at it.
And that's the point I was trying to get to, because he said no good can come from it. Either you're going to open it and it's going to ruin the relationship, or you're going to go crazy wondering what's in there. So
See, I took it no good was going to come from it, thinking that Charlie was setting Huck up and Quinn for something happening to his family. Like, I was thinking more about the family and not about Huck and Quinn's relationship, because Charlie has now a bone to pick with both of them. And what better way to get at Huck, the man who took your girlfriend, than to destroy your family for the second time?
And
that's for me. I was like, she has no choice but to give him the envelope. But I like what Sophia was saying. You need to give him the envelope and say, Charlie said this. Here is what he gave me. Because now, if something happens, Quinn is now going. It's going to circle back to Quinn.
Up because
I also thought that too, because Charlie was there when he had to give up his family when he was at the office in B16 when they went into that whole 752 or whatever the number was. Charlie was in the office when he was forced to leave his family. So I felt like that was something where something was going to happen to the family.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's messed up, and I didn't think about this until you just said it, and this is what you guys were talking about at the beginning. The show is going to have us wondering all these questions, even though it may not have been my favorite episode. Over the summer, I'm going to start thinking about things and just start questioning over and over again. But you brought something up. So with this whole Charlie thing, the whole thing, either Quinn, it eats away at her by not opening the envelope, and then eventually she if she did the approach or the route that you said, that would have worked out better. But because of this, let's say that Charlie is staking out the house and he waits to see if Huck goes, and he knows that Quinn told. Huck becomes attached again, starts watching them, eventually introduces, gets back in the family, and then Charlie can kill them all off. Like, that could be the whole plan. And that's I was about
also, too, and this is actually like really, Guillermo Diaz is beyond excellent. Like, I have no words for him. Like, his ability to capture the essence of this character is just, like, it gives me life. Like, it really does, because you felt him. You felt the struggle. Like, it was Dr. Jekyll Hyde. Like, he doesn't know what to do. Like, he's like, they're better off without me. I'm better off without them. Like, I've made a good life for myself. They've made a good life for themselves. You know, no one's no longer hunting them down. Like, he's going through all the rational reasons. Why? Because he wants his family back. Because think about it. OPA is disintegrating. Mm-hmm. It literally didn't have to figuratively come to Olivia getting on a plane, but even before that, they're not OPA. Mm-hmm. They don't go through the rules anymore. They don't have a checklist. They don't make sure that people aren't lying to them. They don't do anything that they used to do. They are not OPA. He doesn't have a family, and the only family he did have, now he's literally sleeping with her. So that is disgusting. However, I think that there is a certain, and it's along with what you're saying, there's a certain selfishness of going to the family. Like, you're a broken Huck. Like, what are you going to do? So now you are going to go. What are you going to tell them?
And I'm working
just like
for
you
the
said,
secret agency.
Thank you. What? No, seriously. What are you going to tell them?
He needed to like Liv, she thought all the pros and cons of staying and going, and she felt that it was best for her to stay. Huck didn't to go. Huck didn't think of the pros and cons about what he should do, and now
he did, and that's the irony. He did in that moment. He literally was saying he did, and that's the sad part. He did, and he still couldn't stop himself. He did. He was like,
and he went to Olivia.
Down, and he went to Olivia, and he was telling her that to the conversation. And the sad reality is just what Kennelia is saying is the fact that, and Emile, that Charlie basically could be setting him up to kill them. He knows that that's a possibility by him, because obviously people have always known where they are, but him re-engaging with them puts them in danger, and he knows it. And why does he know this? Sorry, I have to say it, because Olivia hasn't been doing her job, and Huck has been spiraling out of control. The Huck that we were first introduced to would have never gone to them, because he would have loved them enough to know that in their mind and in his mind, the person they knew, whatever his real name is dead.
Well, I'm going to just defend Olivia just for a second. It's kind of hard to do her job when she got a bunch of issues going on. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
True.
Because, people like, why you guys that? But
yeah, and that's what we saw. It pushed her to the edge. She called her dad and asked him, if the offer still stands, and now she's packing boxes.
Okay, everyone can hate me. She's a spoiled brat. She's a spoiled brat. you called your dad, just like Abby said, and you get off on your private jet to go off to, like, have a fabulous life anywhere in the world that you want.
And she was just
No, but seriously, so you, because of you, just like you said, all roads really need to lead to her. She's the eye of the storm, right? And so technically, other than the fact that she's not with Fitz, what did she lost? Right? So she basically told Abby that Abby had to choose the associates, and basically she lied to David. It's only because her bond with David was so strong that they were able to re-salvage something. But she basically made her choose, right?
I have to agree. She is a spoiled little brat. Yeah.
Right? No, seriously. So all of a sudden, it's like, okay, cool. I realize that my boyfriend who is married and really loves me, and I love him, still loves his wife because something really bad happened, so now we can't be together. So instead of staying in the situation that I am in and dealing with it, whether or not it means you disengage with him and you no longer do investigations or whatever with the White House, but you still exist in this thing that you created. OPA, you created it. You are going to walk away and leave all these people's lives that you have affected and asked to go over a cliff with you, including treason and things that could get you sent away forever and ever and ever. You decide to get on a private plane with your boyfriend who, and I have to go there because someone on Twitter is going to go there, who choked you?
No, Emile, say why she got on the plane with Jake.
Olivia got on the plane, the private jet with Jake, and she was smiling, and she ignored the president's call, Melly's call from the White House, because Jake had the good wood.
That's why.
So let me tell you a little bit about the good wood. When the good wood affects Olivia, it clouds her judgment and has her do stupid things as getting on a plane. And I was laughing because if you actually put her gladiators and all these people have gone over the cliff. Essentially, these people have gone over the cliff and they're at the ground, like laying down, crippled, and she's walking away, get on a plane. Bye, guys. See you later.
For me, that was just dumb. Last week I talked about how she laid it online. She says she's in love with somebody, and he begged at the right time where he knew he had her. So, and on one side, I give Jake props because, Jake is he's that kind of guy where he wears on you. Ladies, have you got, I know at the club, there's, how guys, they just wear on you till you finally say, damn it.
Like,
Hi, my name is Kennelia. Hi, my name is Sofia. Yeah, okay, buy me a drink. He wears and just wears and tears on Olivia, and he got her at the right moment. So I have to give props to Jake for that, but I didn't like it.
My thing is, where are you gonna go, Olivia, knowing that your friends are in misery? Like, you can only go on a beach vacay for so long without really thinking like, dang, my friends really are up SHIT's creek. Like, dang, I really did just leave. You can't just create a whole new life knowing that the speech you gave talking about I'm the eye of the storm, all of this stuff happened for me, so I'm now off in wherever kicking it, knowing that they're paying the price for the things I've done, and I'm just gonna sit there and let them suffer and not be in it with them. Like, how long can you can't do that for that long, Olivia. Like, where are you going?
Well,
Just go get your apartment back, unpack those boxes, and put that white outfit on, and just keep it moving like you usually do. Like,
on another note, though, like, if she truly has this newfound relationship with her father, like, how is she going to be able to stay that far away from him? Because the way she's making it seem, she's going to disconnect her cell phone and everything. She's going to be with Jake as one. First of all, I can't imagine being, like, just alone with somebody for that long.
Oh, I can, but not with Jake. Oh my God, like, sorry, like, that's like my dream. Like, have you not seen Eat, Pray, Love? No, seriously, I'm trying to cross over.
The way
I'm trying to get on that little boat and go off an island with this only one person and no phone, no nothing. But not with Jake.
You on an island with one person?
But not when your friends are back home living in misery.
And maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
Not only in misery, Harrison could literally be dead. And we can, do you know what I mean? And technically, if he's not, and I don't want him to be, it's a bad storyline. There is no other option other than for Hal to shoot Harrison.
Maybe that's the issue. I don't think it will be that bad if you were going with this person for I don't know for how long.
On a
and you
vacation.
Didn't have, and then you didn't have those worries behind. But she's literally running away from her problem. She said to herself, like, I'm the scandal. I need to be fixed.
Yeah.
Well, you going away isn't going to fix that. You need to address it.
She does think that she thinks by her going away that because she thinks she's a scandal and she thinks that she's the one that needs to be fixed. She thinks by
She's
her
just spreading the storm out, though.
Yes, I know, but I'm trying to think as if I'm Olivia Pope. So I think for her, she thinks that if she leaves, that the problem is going to go away and that everyone will be able to go with their life. But the reality is,
can't be that stupid.
Well, because you have to
But then you
remember,
have to never come back. But then you have to never, ever, ever come back.
Yeah.
And that's not possible.
And you remember, she's left OPA when she needed to go. When Fitz got killed, she left them and let them deal with.
No, that wasn't leaving them though.
I mean,
does that make sense?
Yeah,
That was they were aware that there was a crisis situation. She was still talking with them. That's not literally like I'm leaving. She didn't give this "I'm gone" speech.
Yeah, but I meant in the sense that she felt that they were capable to run OPA without her because.
But there wasn't the. Go ahead, Emile.
No, go ahead.
No, there wasn't the mess that there was now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is the funny thing is, it's almost, and there's two theories of thought, right? It's like when people go to rehab, right? You can either go to like Malibu and you are kind of like in a great situation, i.e. Lindsay Lohan. I'm just going to go there. And then what happens? You then have to come back into real life where there are real life situations. And if you didn't, when you were in Malibu at a pool looking over the ocean, dealing with real situations, and when you come back in the real situation, you don't know how to handle it, which is very different than quote unquote more intensive rehab, right? What does intensive rehab do? You deal with the problems in the real world situation. That's why you even bring in family and friends, and you literally go through and you role play, right? Olivia, again, sorry, spoiled brat, decided to go off to Never Never Land or wherever she wanted on her private plane and be like, oh, I'm going to have my fabulous life, instead of thinking to herself, if I'm the eye of the storm, I don't know how to say this, let's like run everything back. You know how they do like in storylines where it's like, you know, the sliding doors, like let's choose another option? Fix everything. Fix it. If you feel bad, go back to Melly and literally be like, I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? No, seriously, fix things. Start to fix things. Or if you think that telling her was fixing it, like fix it. Don't just leave. I don't know.
Can I just say something with Melly and Olivia? Mm-hmm. When Melly said, "I want a refund,"
oh yeah,
I like normally when Melly loves to throw daggers, but when she said, "I want a refund," I would have threw a bag of nickels and just threw it here, bitch. I like that was just. That was a moment.
That's the appropriate use of the word.
Yeah,
right.
That was the moment where she should have took a bag of nickels and she should have said, "Boom, here's your change.
I got your refund.
Did you need me to write a receipt?"
And the only reason, and I totally agree with you, because I literally said some foul stuff when that happened, but then I remembered. But again, Olivia knows that Melly's been raped, so in that moment, she's not able to throw a dagger, even though Olivia never throws daggers.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't know this. I think that Olivia is not thinking, obviously, and I just don't. I think the way that she left OPA is what hurt me the most, because for essentially, this is her family. She didn't have a real family, like Rowan and Maya just recently came into the picture, like really came into the picture. But like she didn't really have a real family, and OPA has kind of been her family, and she's been neglecting them. But to just kind of look at them. Like Huck's going through some shit right now, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Harrison's not even there, and you're just gonna throw up the deuces?
Yeah.
Look, that's what happens sometimes when you have mommy and daddy issues. Sometimes when people are left a certain way as children, or that's the only behavior that they see, they don't see anything wrong with it when they do it to other people. The fact that Olivia's mom didn't just walk out, well, she knows she walked out now, but Olivia's mom was taken from her when she was young. Of course, it affected Olivia, but Olivia survived. So in her mind, she's thinking, if I go away, yes, they'll be sad, but they'll survive without me. You'll go on. She's not thinking, dang, that's maybe it's a little messed up that I'm walking out. You know what I mean? It seems like she isn't realizing the things that have happened to her and the effect that it's caused. She's just saying that I came out okay, so you will too.
As well as the fact that, and I'm going to talk about the complete opposite side of my mouth, if she really does think that she's the eye of the storm, the best thing to do is to remove yourself from the situation as quickly as humanly possible. So with that said, I understand a certain aspect of her logic, because it really is, it's kind of like, let's say you're like actually a psychopath, right? Do you know what I mean? Because you know how certain people say things like, oh, I couldn't help myself. Well, there's a way to help yourself.
I think that if she would have just left without Jake, then I probably could have accepted it better. But the fact that now that you include your side dude to come and have this now vacation, how are you now going to get away and have a new life when you still have your past into the future with you? So for me, that it makes sense. You said last week about how Mama Pope is always just popping in the middle of the street with her blowouts and stuff. How the hell is she sitting in the hospital? You got the president in the United States probably on the wing somewhere else, and then you got Papa Pope on here. He didn't have security because he's not employed at that moment. But how is she just able to just pop in, as you say, with her blowout, and she's sitting down on Papa Pope's bed, chilling?
Listen, I don't know how she does it, but just to fast forward, when she got arrested, I started cracking up because she walked out there, hair lay, strutting.
Where's she going?
But did you notice how unfazed she was?
She was unfazed, but going from that and then see her puppy dog facing the hole,
I didn't get it, but just to go forward, I don't understand why didn't they just kill her?
Because Dad wants to torture her, and
for the same reason that he didn't kill her to begin with.
He wants her under his thumb.
Rowan wanted to be back where he was, except he wanted it to be the way he wanted. So he still wanted Maya under his control, but he just had to switch some situations around. But now he has everything that he wants. Plus some.
That's the only thing that, even though Fitz is in the midst of grieving, you don't want to see pictures. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but when we were alerted that bin Laden was killed, there was an aspect for the closure of a nation that we all wanted information. Whether or not that we wanted to see pictures, but the information we needed was so that there was definitive, so without a doubt, that someone who did this wrong to us is now gone, right? Someone takes your child, your child, right? They didn't come after you, they killed your child. You're just gonna take it at the word of this man? Oh, it's done? You don't say, I need to see pictures, I need to see her dead body. And I'm not trying to be gruesome for the sake of being gruesome.
No, for sure.
I'm trying to say it for the sake of you need to know.
And I
have a problem with that.
He said that he would take care of it, in the sense he gave the illusion that he would kill her, but when she was apprehended, I believe he said something to the fact that she's been basically arrested or taken. He didn't say that she was killed.
He kind of insinuated. He said something like, I disposed of her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, even as the president, when there was a bomb, this isn't just a lady she killed your son, but there was a bomb that she was responsible for. So just like Sofia said, as the president, you need proof and confirmation that she is dead or in custody. I need to see her. I need to see pictures. You need to do, give me a DNA test. It has to be proof. And he was just like, all right, cool, thanks, and went back to his business. But he was mourning, so I mean.
What about Harrison going to talk to Rowan, though?
Well, Rowan came to Harrison. He was in his car leaving OPA, and the black limousine pulled up, window rolled down. He gets out of the car.
Oh yeah.
And you actually caught that when
Sofia did. Yeah.
Yeah, Sofia, you caught that when the limousine pulled up. You said, "It's Rowan."
And the reason I knew is because from last episode, the questions that he was asking Harrison, he already knew Harrison's backstory. Mm-hmm. It can't be a coincidence that Harrison is at OPA connected to Adnan and Maya. Do you know what I mean? And him not be aware of that. So going to talk to him, that wasn't the problem, because at first he was just telling him oh, we got her, you know what I mean, here's the information. It was only then when he started to put two and two together. I don't understand why people don't put two and two together and keep walking out the door.
Right.
Especially when you know who you're dealing with. You know he just killed your girlfriend / your enemy.
Because Harrison,
say what you gotta say and run out.
Because Harrison talks with this little voice, and he's real tough, and he talks real fast, so of course he's gonna try and confront Papa Pope.
As a grown man, you should know when to puff your chest up and when to run.
Right.
Cause I'm a grown woman and I know when to back down from a fight. I'm gonna say, and I'm not gonna even do it. I'll probably text you the information. Like, I know what you did via text, and I'm gonna close my text message, iMessage, and I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm not gonna go face to face with a killer.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that he had his little moment. Harrison had his little moment with Papa Pope, but you know, I just his whole storyline with him and that and Mom Pope, it was boring.
So is Harrison dead though?
Harrison's dead.
See, and this is the funny thing is, I actually don't think he is,
No, I
even
don't.
though and this is just the nature of the show. He isn't. However, it only makes sense for him to be dead.
I thought I heard a shot though.
No, you didn't hear anything. All you saw was a gun. There was no.
It wasn't even pulled. He was just putting
Yeah.
the silencer on. It
I
wasn't
don't-
even caught. Right? I don't know.
I mean, I can say I personally don't think I think he's going to die based on his personal relationship outside of Scandal. If he,
there's no ooh on that one, Steven?
Yeah, if his name continues to be put into the media with his personal relationship, I feel that was a great way to leave the door open. If there's things that go on in his personal relationship, then that's a way to kill him off.
Well, I read an article, and we're getting back to story, but I did read an article saying that Shauna doesn't like mess, and like if.
Yeah.
Who does?
So.
But you're right. But it would make sense that if he's dead, then that would be the incentive and reason for Olivia to come back and then take in charge of OPA, because now that Harrison's gone.
True.
But are we gonna save this for predictions?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
Okay.
So then, what do we have here? So Rowan Harrison, Goodwood, Jake, and Olivia.
Fitz and he.
Fitz broke down on the floor, and that was hard to watch. But
especially juxtaposed against Cyrus.
oh my God, Cyrus was giddy when they did that freeze frame.
Party,
He looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy up there.
Cyrus like he was at a frat party.
No,
like
come
he
on.
was like, his whole little suit was
What
all
else
over
does
the
he have these
place.
days?
No, I totally
He
agree.
has nothing. So it's at one moment he's been inconsiderate, but at the same time he doesn't have anything because he's lost James. But I do feel that because he had a death,
Yeah.
2-3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
that he should be a little more considerate of what's going on, especially that Fitz didn't lose a grown up, he lost a child. So I felt that was still inappropriate. He could have did his little Dougie or whatever. He could have waited till after, he
But
had
technically, Fitz wasn't there.
Yeah,
in
he
his
didn't do it in
defense.
front of
It
Fitz.
was-
When he came to Fitz, he basically said, Ohio's gonna come in this looking like we're gonna win
And
it.
then
Like he
that's
was
when
more
Fitz was like,
somber
yeah.
and laid back, yeah. But still, he was giddy.
Yeah.
The way that Fitz's hand was shaking, because at first I thought it was going to go somewhere else with the brown water. I thought he was going to be more aggressive versus the falling to the ground. That was hard. However, I'll admit, I think how they cut it is why I didn't get emotional. I thought that Fitz and Melly were going to have a moment, and that I think would have made me break down. Like, I
Together.
needed them to, embrace. Like, I needed there to be, like, wailing. Like, when, I mean, it's two parents who lost a child. Like, I don't care even if he was unaware of the fact that she had been raped and they hated each other. Two parents who lose a child are going to, even if it's only for, like, 5 minutes, they're going to connect with one another. I needed, in the same way that Olivia held Huck, I needed something like that. It felt disjointed even for Melly and Fitz, and even for me, his saying, "Where's Olivia?" It felt disjointed. Yeah. For the first time, it didn't feel organic.
I'm gonna assume because he embraced her when Melly realized that Fitz knew. Maybe they didn't want to do two emotional moments together with them.
But if you're realistic to real life,
I know.
when you lose a child, you're gonna embrace at some point, especially as a woman seeing a man break down. It's different from a man seeing his woman break down. But if you see your man break down, that's a totally different ballgame. Like he needs me. Like you feel like he needs me at this moment, and you have to be there to comfort you. If it's realistic to the situation, like Sophia said, it wasn't connecting right. And then when he said, "Where's Olivia?" If I were Melly, I would feel some type of way. Even, I'd be like, "What you mean, where Olivia at? I got you, Olivia." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
But-
that to me was a little dirty.
I get what y'all saying, but at the same time, it's kind of like I see how she could feel a little soft, but at the same time, Olivia is his love.
But but this is your child.
Yeah,
this is your child.
And Olivia's the reason she's dead. Olivia is the reason their son is dead.
Granted, I just caught myself because technically Melly is technically a co-conspirator in this whole situation.
So I have to back off that. But my point was, do you know what I mean? Like, if not for Olivia, do you know what I mean? Because again, she shouldn't have freed Maya. Do you know what I mean? And I think it all comes down to automatically thinking one person is bad and one person is good. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's back up. Your mom, when you were a little kid, dies in a plane crash, and then you find out that she's not dead, and your dad had been holding her for like 20 years. And again, same thing. You don't ask, like, how did you escape? Because again, a normal house mom or whatever type of job she had could not have escaped from command.
Right.
And just showed up and talking to you like, do. Hey, honey, are these your friends?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what do you do? Are you eating good?
Are you eating good? She did.
Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? It's disjointed. And so, and I feel like also, too, Melly lost a child. Again, it's selfish in the most basis of levels. In the midst of you lying on the floor, like as if it wasn't Melly's son. Does that make sense? So Melly lost a child, and in the midst of you breaking down and Melly trying to comfort you, just like you said, Melly's not having a moment. Melly's allowing you to grieve for your son. You asked for Olivia? You didn't ask for Jerry.
Totally out of pocket.
Do you know what I mean? You didn't ask for Jerry. Like, where's my son? I can't believe this happened. Where's Olivia?
I got you, Olivia.
Yeah.
Like,
Because again, and this is, Olivia should be there then.
Right.
No, let's be real, right? Because at the end of the day, if Olivia is, I need to pick my words. If Olivia is worthy for you to call out her name in that moment, you shouldn't actually have to call out her name. Does that make sense? She should be there. If in the midst of your son dying, you are in the Oval Office with your wife and the mother of your child that just died, Olivia is important enough that you need her in that moment. Olivia should already be there in that moment. Not on a plane with Jake, like you said, going. And again, I totally agree with you. If she was on the plane by herself, I respect that. You want to know why? Because Olivia is speaking into her truth and doing what's best for Olivia. But that means then she's not your girl.
And then on another note, like, she's getting on this plane saying that she's a scandal, she needs to fix herself. She can't fix herself when she's there trying to save somebody else. Now, he keeps saying, save me, save me, save me. I need to fix me first. Can you say somewhere, I know the wood is good, I know.
But then that it means, just like I think Bamm was saying, it means she's not leaving her past behind because she's still being a fixer.
Right.
Totally.
And not on self.
Well, guys,
But it was a great. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it was a great scene.
It was
great
a great
episode.
Great breakdown.
Yeah, I loved the episode. I love the way this
You ain't
season.
loved the episode.
I did love the
I
episode.
actually do. The funny thing is, I'm changing my mind too. No, I know I sound like a hypocrite, but I do love. The
I love the
now that
episode.
I've
I just
dissected
don't.
it.
I don't love that. It didn't feel like a finale, but I still loved the episode. It was a great episode. It just didn't feel like finale. If it was another episode in the middle of the season, I would have been like, "Oh, this is great," but it just
Or
didn't.
if it was 18 of 22.
True. Oh, good point.
From a overall perspective, I particularly like this episode because it leaves the opportunity open for what's to happen for season 4. There's a lot, like, I feel like the dynamics of the show can now change because now that Olivia's gone, think back to some of
She's
the
gonna
other
come back at the
ob-
beginning of the
obviously,
season. Sorry,
but
prediction, sorry.
think about all some of the other classic shows when someone allegedly leaves. It changes the dynamics of the show. You got to figure out and you got to go back to the basis of what the show's about. And I feel like by her leaving, quote unquote leaving, when she comes back, she has to come back and she has to reevaluate. She has to fix and she has to do things, and she's not going to be maybe the same Olivia. So from an overall perspective, it was a little slow and boring, but I think that what was great about the show is there's a lot of question marks, and it's going to leave the opinions of who's coming back, who's not coming back, what's going to happen, so for me it was okay.
Well, I think that's a great lead into our question/predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Once again, Quinn is gonna get pregnant. I think that's honestly gonna happen, and they're gonna have a little murder child. Because I don't even think we addressed the fact they were banging next to blood on the ground. That's some kinky shit. Like, that's just nasty. I was about to go somewhere else, but I'm not going to. Anyway, I think that Harrison is dead, and if not, then I'm just over it. We've been begging for, like truly begging for a storyline more than what they've been giving us. The Adnan thing was cool, but it really wasn't satisfying. I don't know what I'm looking for, but that wasn't it. I think that I hope they don't do this, but it may be one of those things where they do like 2 years later or 3 years later with this whole Olivia thing going away. But I really don't want it to be that way. I want her to.
That's a good point.
I want her to have a realization on the plane or something, come back. I don't know where it's going, but I don't know if I necessarily want to do a long pause and then come back. But on another note, if they do that, then that's a way to, by putting that year gap or however long, any type of time period gap in there, that gives the writer and the creator more creativity and freedom to pretty much do whatever they want, because you can say this is what happened in this period of time, ignore everything that you saw in the previous seasons, because now we have enough time where this realistically could have changed the whole dynamic of all these relationships. So yeah, I hope they don't do that though. For some reason I really want them to try to fix the issues in the current time as opposed to jumping forward to just skip all that story.
Right. Well, one, I want to say my cold piece. My cold piece for this episode is Shonda Rhimes for leaving me feeling this way, because I don't feel full. Like, I'm not full off of the end results. Like Ben was saying, like, there's a lot of questions. I don't have no questions. Like, I don't have any questions. Like, what if this will happen? No, I don't have none. I'm just like, all right. Okay, done. We're done. Like, I'm not going to tomorrow be like, so I wonder what's going to happen with someone. So I don't wonder. So she's my cold piece. But in reality, cold piece is Rowan, because he set this whole thing up basically just because he got bored because he got laid off. You can't take the fact that you're on unemployment now, so now you want to start causing trouble just so you can get your old gig back. Take the L, get a new job, put your resume on Monster and get a headhunter. Like, it's not, Rowan needs to grow up. But I like what you said about them and the time lapsing, because if you really talk about the show as a show, to cut down Fitz being in the Oval Office for so long again, because 4 years is a long chunk of time, the best way to do that is to jump years. Otherwise, we're going to endure another, season after season after season after season. And y'all know I say this every week. I'm not a fan of the White House drama anymore. I want to see it move out of that. So I kind of predict that it is going to jump. Olivia's going to come back a couple years later, and that's going to put a bigger dent in the relationships that she had. Because it's going to be, dang, you left, instead of saying you left for a month, you left for 2 years, and now you come back and you want to be our friend again. I think that's going to be a problem with her and her so-called friends. And I think when she comes back, I predict that Melly and Fitz will be kind of okay. I think everybody will be moving on without her, and I think the problem is going to be her. It's going to be not the damage that she's done. I predict that the only person that's going to be really wounded when they come back is Olivia. She's going to be more hurt than she is better.
I piggybacking off of both. I think that's excellent, and I would love that. So I would love for it to fast forward 2 years, and I completely agree. I don't even need to say it. I agree. I don't need to repeat myself or repeat what you guys have said. I also want to say I knew that Maya couldn't take Rowan. Sorry. Just knew it. No, seriously. Because I was like, there ain't no way. There ain't no way. Right. So, right, he let her stab him so that it could unfold all the little pieces. Rowan's a cold piece. And again, going back to the nature of how we felt about the episode, again, I think it is relevant that it was originally supposed to be 22 and they had to cut down production to 18. So maybe that is why it doesn't necessarily feel like a finale, even in terms of the fact that we just needed 4 more. Like, in terms of being full, we literally aren't full because we were expecting 4 more. So even if you had pushed this out to 22 and this was the same episode, maybe we'd feel differently. And that's actually, I think, that all that I had.
I just have a couple of things. Really quick, the whole Harrison thing, like I said before, I believe Harrison will live or die based off of his personal relationship outside the show. And I think in one aspect, it would be great if he dies, because then it will give room for Olivia to have a reason to come back. If Harrison lives, then I feel it will be Fitz who's gonna hop on that plane and go get his woman. But I was also thinking when I go back to season 1 DVD for the special features, you know, some of the actors were trying to be inquisitive about the character and trying to figure out their background. And Shonda was like, I don't know. We're still in the process of creating. I don't know. Just keep acting. Just keep doing what we write, and we'll figure it out. And I feel that because of the popularity of Scandal and so many people's complaints and their concerns about the show, I really do think that the writers' room are going to have a nice, long, good summer where they're going to have to reevaluate this show and figure out what direction do they want to take it. Do they want to step outside the White House? Do they want to go back to the daily whodunits? They have to figure out how to keep this momentum going, yet they can't have the same thing because some people are tired. So I think the writer's room is going to really have to figure out how to really take it to the next level. So to be honest, I don't really know what the hell is going to happen. I don't have any predictions except for Harrison. If he may live or die. That's pretty much all I have.
I have a piggyback off what you just said. I think it was after the Oprah interview. Shonda Rhimes has been known to say she'll take a show back from the fans.
She sure will.
Ironically, I think as a writer, and I could be wrong because I think there's a difference between the marketing of the show and the writing of the show. I feel pretty confident Shonda doesn't play to us.
She does.
Shonda writes what she wants to write. Mm-hmm. So I actually think that's not their vision. I think she's organically letting it evolve, which is different than playing to the fans. Mm-hmm. So I think the time off is naturally figuring out, like, what would the characters do? Because I think that they grow. They're almost like children that she waters. But I think we need to be very careful. I really don't think that Shonda plays to the fans. That's not her intent with the show.
She wants to shock us and surprise us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think she writes from what I consider to be a literary pop and then a realistic perspective, if that makes sense. But she's very literary, and you can tell that that's what she's writing. These characters are organic. They're real to her. So in the same way that with a friend, you don't know your friend's story all at once. Mm-hmm. You get to know it. I think that's kind of almost how she writes. As you get to know someone, you go, oh, I never know that you were born in such and such. You wouldn't know that day one. I think that's how she writes, which is different than, oh, because you like orange, now I'm going to tell you orange is my favorite fruit. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, that is the end of Scandal Season 3 and the AfterBuzz TV Scandal Season 3 after show. It has been a blast. As always, it was fun coming every week to see you guys. And we'll be here next season. Maybe you'll see us again somewhere else. We'll see. Where can we find you guys? Because we're always online.
You can find me on social media at Bamm Ericsen, but you can also check me next Thursday, April 23rd. I'll be back here on AfterBuzz TV for R&B Divas, R&B Divas Atlanta and R&B Divas LA, as well as follow me on Twitter. I will be potentially appearing in some stuff, so just checking me out.
You can find me on Twitter at Sofia Stanley. Again, on Twitter at Sofia Stanley.
I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Kennelia. Check out Kennelia.com for all things Kennelia. I also be on the Love and Hip Hop after show. Woohoo! And Ray Donovan started in the summertime. And also, if you're in the comedy, I'm in the semifinals of the California's Funniest Comedian contest, May 16th at Ice House in Pasadena. So please come check me out there.
And we will be going as a field trip.
Nice. And guys, you can find me on social media at Emile Ennis Jr. and on YouTube.com/ChasingLA. More content is coming. I'm working on it as we speak. Guys, it's been amazing. We're going to miss you. Make sure you stay in touch with us. Write us, tweet us, all that good stuff. And we love you. Come back next season and support all of your favorite hosts on the other AfterBuzz TV shows and all their other endeavors. We love you guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
With
views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.